As you see, they've got a neck on the floor. He's got his hand on her neck.
He's straight out of Wales with the wind in his sails. He's tipping the scales, Silurian trails, revealing their names while he's lifting their veils. Public assails, no one exhales. Won't read in the mail, it's not printed in braille. No bonus for sales, the light will prevail. He's telling the tale while he's hot on the trail. Whole nother scale, he's hammering the nail. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hare in the headlight.
Press, don't even pick on me. Are you watching this? The press aren't allowed to film.
Injustice is served, collar crime is submerged. Don't be absurd, your vision is blurred. He's seen it occur, still right there on the curb. His iPhone record, he's filming the herd. BLM thugs act like cons high on drugs. They wrecking the place, they're smashing the face. He's in with the thick, in with hammers and sticks. Exposing the truth, he's showing the proof. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hare in the headlight.
You just don't want to see it there. You just don't want to see the violence. You don't want to see the violence on some of those people. 3 people on a woman.
Support for the vets, pray unless we forget the pain he besets and the truth he projects. He's a victim of threats, but he never regrets. Life extremely upsets, no printing gazettes. He's taken the test, got the pedo's address. No south, east or west, he streams the protest. No news is suppressed, the whole truth is expressed. Twin standard he tests, he's facing arrest. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hare in the headlight.
There's 4, 5 or 1. There's 2 on a girl. They pinned her to the floor. This one's getting a bully boy tactics, must from the TSG probably. Sergeant, yeah.
Evening all. Merry Christmas. If you could all do me a favour, could you please start sharing, folks? It's going to be a very important show tonight because we do want to highlight that idiot of last Saturday, the councillor. We do want to bring that up. There's a few other topics we're going to cover today as well. Also, I've got 2 guests on, one who was at both of those protests on Saturday and Sunday, and Chrissy. And also I've got Nathan, the young lad who did his first speech and went to his first demo. First of all, I'll bring on Chrissy. But first of all, I'm going to give away a free mug. If you're at the demo next time, you can have the free mug. If not, I'll have to post it to you. So the question is, what was the name of the councillor on Saturday who decided to misbehave badly and shouldn't really be looking after kids at all, or either be a councillor or a school governor? Now, if you put the answers, now bear in mind, put the answers on Real News Live News, because I'll be able to see your answers there. So if everybody is watching on different not platforms, but different groups, if you could please jump on to Real News Live News, I'll be able to see your comments. I'll probably be able to see your names as well then, folks. So if you could do that, I've got a couple of comments coming in already. So I'll put these up. Evening. I don't know who the Facebook user is. Hello, Welsh Blondes. That's on YouTube, folks. Thank you very much. So you're looking at it already, folks. Councillor Twat. I could say a few more words about him. If you could put your comments in, and then I'll know which platform, which group, or what page you're actually on, folks. Right? So let's bring Chrissy on first. Evening.
Hello, hiya, you all right?
Yeah, I see you've got your earphones on, so I'll be able to hear you.
Yeah.
if I put my head's down like this, like I tell everybody, all I'm doing is just sharing it, the live. Hello, Emma. How you doing? Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you? What sort of activism you actually do? Because you are an activist. I've seen you at quite a few demos. So,
Well, yeah, because I'm fighting for people. I don't care about the people high up at the top behind this agenda. I care about real people, and I just want to see a better world for everybody. It's really important that we make a stand. We all have to be together, stand together against everything that's happened in the last 3 years. We've been living under some really strange things, strange rules and things going on that just shouldn't have happened. And the RSC, I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I was very focused on other things that were going on in the world. And then I think I went to see one of Kim's presentations. And if you haven't seen the presentation, you should go on to Public Child Protection Wales and you should have a little look at presentations, because honestly, once you watch them and you really take it in what it's all about and the agenda behind it, it's really frightening. It's so scary to think that they are implementing this into the schools and the poor children. You just think like a lot of people just aren't aware of how dangerous this education is. So it's really important that everyone gets on board with Public Child Protection Wales.
yeah, I got involved. I think there's a second protest that they actually did, doing. I've covered enough. I've covered enough of their protest to understand a little bit about what's going on. So
you have,
but it's for our kids at the end of the day. It's simple as that. It's for our kids. It's nothing untoward about it. What we're actually fighting for is the truth about
That's
what
right.
they're trying to bring into schools. Wales has got it tougher than any other 51 nations which has come into, because we haven't got an opt-out.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I did. Before I saw the presentation, I did go to the Senedd a couple of times to support, the group and everything. And sometimes there wasn't as many people there as there should have been. And that's where I slowly started getting to it. But it's definitely, you've got to watch the presentation that Kim does. It is mind-blowing, isn't it? Shocking.
Yeah, I think it did have a little bit of a slow start, but at the end of the day, it did. It's picked up in numbers, I should say, because it's the only group which actually brings a hell of a lot of different people together. It brings some
Amazing.
of the left and the right together. It brings in different faiths, Christianity, Muslims, and I'm an atheist, so that's brought me in as well into that little fold.
Yeah.
Also, it's black and white. It's brought all different colours, races. So it's done a hell of a lot of good. I think it's brought a lot of Wales together.
Absolutely, it's been really nice. Actually, it's been nice for me getting to know some of them. The Muslims and everything, and different different ethnic minorities and all sorts. There's been, like you said, we've had Catholics, the Christians, everybody, every single person you can think of, every religion, every faith. And that's just amazing to be able to get to know them and to find out a bit, more about them and what they believe. And at the end of the day, it's family values. That's what I'm seeing. It's real family values, and that's so important. And that's what we're going to lose if we let this education carry on. We're going to lose families in the future. We just won't have that, and that's just not a world that we want. So we have to fight with everything that we possibly can, and we've just got to stand up for this.
So somebody said Councillor John Shimon. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the councillor. It shouldn't be in his post, to be honest with you. I'll go into that afterwards, folks. Yeah, So you do cover other protests. You cover the COVID ones as well.
Yeah,
You've probably seen me
everything.
at those ones as well.
Yes, I have. The thing is, I think a lot of people they kind of wonder why you jump from different things, and they think, well, 1 minute you're at this protest, then you're at this, that you're talking about this, you're talking about that. But all I want to say is that it's all one agenda. It is. It's all linked. Every single thing that has been going on, it's all the same. So once you start going into looking into one thing, you'll start to look into something else, and you'll realize that it's definitely all together and it's all under the same umbrella, should I say, really. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Emma, can you tell me what group you're on? Because I can see your name, and your name comes up with Emma, and obviously Facebook user. I've got a funny feeling that's actually the group. So you might have to go on the page, guys. So Emma, if you could actually let me know which group you're on, you're watching this, then everybody else can see it, or if it's on one of my profiles. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on Nathan now, because Nathan is a young lad. It's refreshing to watch, really.
It is.
It was his first protest he'd ever been to, but he'd been following PCP Wales for the last over a year, like. Hang on a minute. Yeah, so folks, if you all jump onto Real News Live News, the group, I'll be able to see your comments with your name with it as well. So yeah, so it's refreshing to watch that a young lad of that age standing up for children he hasn't got. Because he's, in my eyes, he's still a child until he's under 18, because he's still under 18. He's 17. He's coming up to his 18th. But at the end of the day, for him to turn up to a protest, first protest, and start to speak, and does a speech, quite powerful for his age as well, because he's never spoken before. It was just absolutely amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, it was so, honestly, it made me want to cry. It's just so amazing that he stood up there, and the things that he said. Oh, I felt so happy that there was someone younger that was talking about the agenda and how he was disgusted with it. And it wasn't, and all the things that he said, I just thought, wow, this is amazing. It was really, really good speech.
Yeah, he was amazing. So I'm going to bring Nathan on now. Hi, Lucia. Hello, Nathan.
All right, everyone. You all right?
What a powerful speech you did on Sunday.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Well done, mate. It's not many youngsters who could go up on the stage and actually start speaking on your first demo. Yeah, you done really, really well, mate. It was refreshing for a youngster to actually go up there instead of parents doing the speeches and stuff like that. A youngster going up there and standing up for his sisters, because that's what you were going up there for, weren't you? You were
for my sisters. Yeah, definitely. Because I got 3 young sisters, obviously all 3 of them girls, and obviously I know they're going to be learning this stuff, and it just sickens me because I've got literally no control over it. And just like with COVID, just like with everything else, there's so many things which I see in my day-to-day life which I got no control over. And obviously, I first heard about this RSE when I was 15. I seen a leaflet in a bus stop. Obviously, didn't really look into it. I just thought, that's wrong. And obviously, a few months later, and well, I'd say about nearly a year later, I seen one of Kim's videos being shared in a group chat, and obviously, that's when I first, started following them. And obviously, I remember seeing this video, but this was from London. This was, and it was East London, and they were Muslims. They were, and obviously, they were protesting against a similar sort of education that was being rolled out in a primary school in London. And obviously, obviously the Muslims, they were saying, respect our faith. There was no parental opt-out. They're saying respect our faith and our. And I watched one Muslim woman. She was being interviewed, and she started crying. I just seen it. She started crying just by saying the fact that her son is in that school being taught this, and she isn't there to advise him on anything. She isn't allowed to bring him out lessons. There's nothing, and obviously the head teacher was refusing to, negotiate with parents, etc. And and just month by month, over the course of about nearly 2 years, I just got more and more agitated by it, to the point where on Saturday I heard what happened. I said I'll be the next demo 100%, because it's just getting beyond now.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that PCP Wales are going to have to be using security in future. I think there is some security lined up, because obviously the speakers got mishandled on Saturday, and it does happen quite often, because when you're going against a narrative, and it's against the agenda for the government, then they are there to agitate you, and that's it. All they're there is to cause grief and agitate you.
Yeah.
So, did you see the video from Saturday?
Yeah, I did, and obviously I seen the counsellor as well, obviously, and I just thought, and obviously I heard about a 13-year-old girl saying that she believed that the age of consent should be lowered to 10, which I just thought that's shocking. Now a 13-year-old girl has actually thought that that's appropriate, because it just shows the level of indoctrination these kids are going through, which just angers me, because I just feel like if we don't turn things around now, it is definitely going to be too late, if they have 13-year-old kids already saying such things,
Yeah, I didn't film that 13-year-old because it wouldn't have been fair. Because obviously she's a young girl and everything else, but I did hear the words come out of her mouth about a 10-year-old. But that's the indoctrination of the schools. That's immaturity. I mean, it's not her fault. Definitely not her fault. It's society's fault at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. And go on.
And what are your thoughts on it, Chrissy?
It's just frightening, really, isn't it? I don't think I realised how much young people had already been indoctrinated. I didn't know. And I think over the last few years, I can really see it, because they're very confrontational as well. I tried to speak to a couple of people at other demos before, like younger people, and they just won't have any of it. They just, some of them, I'm generalizing here, because obviously not all, but some, they just shut down. They just don't want to hear it. They believe what they believe, and there's no other room for different viewpoints. And I think that's what we're lacking, is that we aren't all going to agree on everything. We're not. I mean, we're all realizing that, even in, the people who are for or against, there's arguments within the groups. And I think we've got to accept that we are all different, but you've got to be able to talk these things through and live a bit in reality. And I think what I noticed was some of them, they're just living in cuckoo land. I don't know whether it's their parents. I was thinking about Munchausen disease as well. I was thinking there seems to be it's like as if parents are trophying some of these children as well. I just can't get my head around what's going on, really. That parents aren't being honest with their children. They're kind of feeding into this, I don't know, it's like fairy tale land. It's not true. Where's the truth? What's happened to the truth?
Yeah, that's right. Well, what I'm going to do first, because Nathan's a little bit of he's not the norm, as I should say. He's a bit of a thinker. He's older than what he seems. That's what it seems to me. And I don't think Nathan hasn't. Sometimes I think it's the way you're brought up, or you've dealt with schooling and stuff like that, where you've not. How can I put it? My mind works a lot different to most people who I went to school with, because my brain is completely differently wired.
Exactly, and that's exactly what it's like for me. It's just wired differently, and just no, it's a big part of
Yeah,
you know, it's
that's right,
obviously
Lucia.
yeah, it's just
He's a critical thinker.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was about to get onto it, critical thinking. But obviously, they try to teach you critical thinking in the schools, but it's the critical thinking that they want. You know, in the schools they would say most kids are critical thinkers, but it just ain't true because
No.
you know schools need to stop teaching kids what to think and rather teach them how to think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My son, did I tell you, my son got sent outside class because to do with the gender thing in his lesson, and the teacher sent him outside the class because he stuck up for himself. And I just think it's just getting scary now because the truth,
exactly,
isn't it? Everything is just you're not allowed. He wasn't allowed to voice his opinion. He got sent outside.
Yeah. And
this is what he was saying was right.
Yeah. Obviously, I do sociology, and in a sociology exam, one of the questions was, what is meant by the term gender? And obviously, I struggled to answer that question because obviously I knew if I put what I actually thought about that, it would be incorrect. So obviously, I had to write out what they would want, and that's how they indoctrinate. That's how they indoctrinate us because you know they you know the only way you're passing through the education system is if you are completely indoctrinated.
Well, the education system, at the end of the day, it's all about memory. It's got nothing to do about thinking for yourself. If you've got a good memory, you go far with education. It is fact, because all there is you're not thinking for yourself. You've already been told. You're reading the books. It's nothing about thinking for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the system's about. Well, the system was actually brought in by the bankers. Originally, that's what they were brought in by. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they actually brought the education system in. It was about to control the workers. That's what it was all about. That's what all education has always been about. It's not about thinking for yourself. It's about doing a meaningless job for them.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are slaves.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, definitely. Well, yeah, that's 100% true. And obviously, we live in a materialistic society where, when you think of when people think of slave, the first thing that they will think of is, you know, the Confederacy, South America, and they'll think of, you know, actual slavery. But they need to, because they are surrounded by, you know, material items, etc. They don't actually understand the slavery that we are in, you know, because their mind is conditioned to see slavery as something else. They feel like they feel like they're doing it on their own behalf, but they don't understand that they're being forced to, and they have to just to live in society.
Yeah, slavery's been around since the beginning of time. That's fact. It's been around for thousands upon thousands. Well, from the beginning of time. Yeah. There's always somebody is a slave, full stop. But our governments do it. They do it out of money with your tax system and everything else that goes along with it, like, you know, and their laws. That's what the laws are all about. It's about controlling.
Yeah,
but it's all,
exactly.
That Nathan said as well on, was it Sunday? Gosh, yes, it was Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah. When you said, I thought it was amazing, when you said that adults have already been groomed.
Yeah.
That they're already sexualized. They think it's normal. Well,
exactly. This has been a process. Yeah. So obviously, this has been a process of decades in the making. And the first thing obviously, before World War II, you know, sex wasn't something that was just openly spoken about and, you know, such an open thing. It was a lot more taboo. And obviously, after World War II, after Alfred Kinsey come along, you obviously had in the 50s and the 60s, 70s, and so on. Every decade, first thing they did was, you know, get their parents, get their father through pornography, etc. Condition their mind over the decades. Decade by decade, they inched away at it till you got to the 2000s where they started ramping up. Do you get me? This RSC, they've planned this decades in the making. They've wanted to teach these kids decades in the making. And obviously, you know, the first thing they done was obviously get their parents, get them sexualized, get them. by sexualized, I mean like get them sexually driven.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can play your speech from Saturday. Bear with me a second, because last time I did this, I totally mucked it up and I couldn't. Let's have a quick look. Let's see.
I can't hear it. Can others?
No, I can't hear it either.
Right. What I've done, I've stopped it. If anybody wants,
Nathan can probably remember his speech, some of it. Maybe
Yeah, some of it, yeah.
Maybe he can do it live.
Oh, I don't know if I'd be able to read it word for word, like. But,
no, not word for word, but some of it.
The speech is obviously I just mentioned how obviously it was my first time there, and you know, I mentioned about how obviously I'm just getting fed up. I got young sisters, I'm fed up off the education, and I said, and I got, you know, in the speech I mentioned how I was just really shocked. Well, I wasn't really shocked because I could imagine it was going to be like this, but the fact that so many people just walked on. They could obviously hear what was things were being mentioned. They could see the signs, but they just kept walking on. And you know, as I said in the speech, I said, you know, you'll regret not stopping. If we don't get what we want, they will regret not stopping. I said in 15 years' time, you know, you will see the effects of this education has, and it's not going to look nice. Do you get me? And you know, to me, like, I want action now, because as I said, if the clock doesn't go back now, it's not going to be a nice world, because as Kath said before, you know, your generation and so on can, you know, bang the drum as much as they want, but as soon as this generation comes up after learning this education, you know, it's going to be installed, it's going to be reinforced, as you said, how, you know, like that 13-year-old girl, how not aggressive, what did you say? I've completely lost it. You said,
yeah,
she's kind of a little bit brainwashed.
Assertive, they're very assertive, and they're no tolerance, and this was their ideology. They just have zero tolerance. They're not open to other beliefs, especially not beliefs that come from any sort of religion or faith, because my belief is that we need, exactly. My belief is the reason why a big part of the reason why we have got to this point is because of the decline in Christianity. And obviously it's not completely about religion, but obviously look at the Muslims, look how upfront and tough they are against us, and they took Christianity away from us. They made us turn our backs on it. So that's how we even got to this point now, because once our faith is gone, we will look at things like this in a different light.
Absolutely. I think, you know, you see this happening with the drag shows. I mean, obviously in America, you see these videos of parents taking their children, and they've just got no moral.
Yeah, exactly.
They've lost everything, and they're talking about it. And you're thinking they have come so far away from any sort of religion or faith. It's just gone completely the other way now. So, you know, I don't know, but it does seem to have affected society, doesn't it? We do seem to be lost.
Shocking. It's scary. It really is scary. I really don't like. I've seen people share that drag show where there was kids, and the stuff that was involved within that show is just sick. It's disgusting. It's literally disgusting. I don't even understand why adults would want to go to something like that.
Because they're
let alone taking your children.
like you said,
like I said,
they've
they're all
drifted away so far, and there's no. I think years ago we used to think like, oh, you can't do that. Like it's a bit of a sin, you know, you can't do these things. I think now it's just free for all, isn't it? You can do whatever you want. You can be whoever you want. You can say whatever you want that they want you to say.
Exactly.
You know, and it's just gone crazy, really. Society does seem to be really broken, but like you said, it's been happening such a long time.
Exactly, and it's been happening over the course of decades, and obviously now we're getting to the point where they're getting closer and closer to get into the world that they want, and it's up to us to obviously turn around and say no.
I know, definitely. There's not enough parents that are seeing the problem.
Yeah, that's what. But the thing is, right? I've told plenty of parents about this. I've told plenty of people about this, and yes, a lot of people will agree it's wrong, but it's always, what can I do about it? Oh, someone else will do something about this. Although they think it's wrong, they just don't think that it's anything to do with them. They don't think that they have any power to matter. They just think someone else will end up doing it down the line because it's wrong. Do you get me? And they don't understand that that just is not the case. It's got to be numbers. It's got to be all of us.
There's a lot of weak people now, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that just seem to be preoccupied with utter nonsense, like things that just aren't important. They're just completely lost in the wilderness.
Exactly.
Lisa, I don't really put the details out for the StreamYard for anybody else to jump on. I'm not sure which Lisa it is, to be honest with you. If you want to share, you can go onto the group. There's a share option on the group page. And if you can't share it from the live, jump out, share it then, and then jump back onto the live. There shouldn't be a problem because I've just shared it myself a few times. So I know it's been shared because it's been shared about 40, 50 times already. So folks, if you could please share, because this is an important topic. But I'm going to take you off. I'm going to take you off topic now. And what I'm going to actually do, not off topic as such. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. If I can find it.
All the events that we carry out to show that educate yourselves. The RSC is absolutely fine. People are against it are absolutely incorrect. Educate yourself. Know what's really in it.
Wow. Had a good drink. Had a good drink. Had a good drink. We have.
This is what we get to a large degree. Did they go into the schools in the 1980s and 1990s and teach that?
Right, folks. I know you two probably couldn't see that, but I know the rest of the people
I've
did.
seen it before, yeah.
At the end of the day, the guy in the green, his name is. Hang on, right? Let's name and shame him, man, shall we? There you go, councillor. Let's get rid of that for there. Let's get rid of the banner.
Embarrassing, isn't he? It's embarrassing what he did.
There you go, folks. Councillor John Shimon. He's for Penlan. He's also a school governor. What I personally think, people should be complaining. Let's get rid of that. If you voted him in Penlan district, the council there, you need to have your heads re-examined and get rid of him. You need to ask for his resignation, folks, because a guy that can act like that with his child with him. Mm-hmm. Now, all right, Zarek did give him the mic, but Zarek went to take the mic back and he wouldn't give it.
No.
I mean, he pushed his hand away. And also, he actually went up to one of the protesters who were giving out leaflets and he ripped it up. Now, there's another thing. He says in that video, RSE is safe. Okay? Do you research? How can you check research for content of classrooms when it's not even out in the public? So how can you possibly say it's safe? Do you mean? Well, what are your thoughts?
Exactly. Well,
You
obviously,
can't. How can you make a comment
no,
like that without researching
exactly.
the
And you haven't seen the effects of it yet either.
You're not going to see the effects of it for years to come. Well, sorry,
Exactly.
you are going to see the effects because it's happening in Scotland, where you've got 1400% rise in transgenderism because of
It's
the school
frightening.
education.
Yes,
Absolutely
exactly. And the thing
frightening.
is, that, and that's what I mean. And like a bit from the transgender now, all the other, right, obviously, all the other ones from the transgenders, right? None of these existed not so long ago. None of these existed. And it just makes you think, well, why are they here now? Because if they were that natural and normal, well, wouldn't they have been here for as long as homosexuality or whatever? Because it's not. It's a complete new reshape.
Can I mention Gays Against Groomers? I know they're American, but because it's so important, I keep on mentioning them because it's not being against gay people or trans people that are adults.
Exactly.
It's not all children, but we just want them to grow up as children
exactly.
and enjoy their childhood. And then when they're older, if they decide to go down that road, then obviously people have to we should support them, which is fine. But, wait till they're older. And Gays Against Groomers, they always say, stop transitioning the gay out of children, because some of those children might go through this transitioning, and then when they're older, they'll realise, actually, I wasn't trans at all. I was actually gay. I just felt a little bit different, and somebody, they took me down the wrong road because I was a little bit confused, which, what children are not a little bit confused when growing up?
Exactly, because like even like young girls who classed as tomboys, who like to going outdoors and like play football or whatever, they used to grow up and be just normal women. But left alone, exactly. But now if you're a young girl and you're sorry. But now these days, obviously, if you're a young girl and you play football or you skateboard or you do anything that's turn masculine, then you were spoon fed this ideology.
Absolutely.
That trying to turn you trans.
I'm
and as you said, a lot of them exactly, and a lot of them years down the line look back and think, no, that's not what I wanted.
Exactly. Or they might be gay, or they might not be. They might just have been going through changes or whatever it is, and then when they're older, they realise they're not. But imagine then looking back at your pictures in your life and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know why on earth, as a little child, was people steering me towards something that I just wasn't, my brain just wasn't ready to make those type of decisions.
Exactly.
Ridiculous. Absolute joke.
Well, this guy, right, this John Simmons, if he's a school governor, and he's also a councillor, I don't personally think that he's not for doing that. One, he hasn't done no research into the subject whatsoever and hasn't got a clue, because he says, go and ask the teachers. Well, the teachers don't even know what the curriculum is.
What a joke.
So he's actually, he's misinformation. He's a councillor pushing out misinformation. And by the way, councillors, I'm sure they were meant to have gagging orders on this. So they shouldn't have been getting involved with this at all. Do you know?
Of course they shouldn't have. And his child was with him. Was there any need?
Exactly.
For him? Exactly. How desperate was he to grab that mic?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that? To me, that's unstable. That's somebody who's a little bit unstable.
Definitely. Because
exactly
that's shocking, because so many people walk on. Why couldn't he? Because he's obviously that annoyed by what you was doing. He was obviously that annoyed.
It is technically assault. It's also it's technically what's the word? Criminal damage. because he took that leaflet knowing that he was going to rip it up in bits in front of her.
Yeah.
It's actually inciting somebody for a reaction. Do you know what I mean? So
It's a bit of a. It's almost like he's got something wrong with him. Is there something wrong with his head? Do you think he might need to be assessed?
well, perhaps the liberal Democrats need to look at him.
Yeah,
Before
it's
putting
not
him up
right. That's not
Put
normal
him up.
behaviour.
They need to be put. They do need to be looking into it. The Liberal Democrats and the council. He's brought the council into disrepute, so he should actually be up in front of the kangaroo court within the council as well. So if enough people put a complaint in about him,
Mickey Mouse court.
yeah, it's a kangaroo court.
Oh, Mickey Mouse.
I went to one. I went to one about 3 years ago. That was Neil McAvoy's one. Yeah, it was definitely a kangaroo court. But it should. He should actually go there. He should be suspended.
Of course he
If
should.
not- If not, resign or
It's
sacked.
lucky I wasn't on the mic then, because I wouldn't have been quite as calm. I'm so glad that
No.
Tarek was
definitely.
on the mic.
I don't think I would be either, to be honest.
No, he was excellent how he handled that, because
Yeah, good.
he was a bit, he was intimidating, wasn't he? He was a big man as well.
Yeah, and he stormed
know.
on and he just grabbed the mic and and he just
And he was shouting
with his
out
daughter as well.
rubbish.
Yeah, imagine what his
Nice.
daughter thought. Imagine what his
I think-
daughter must have thought.
Is it a daughter or son?
I think it was his son. Don't know, ginger kid, but
Look,
Dunno,
we're
but
not
it's
going to
still
get
like-
into genders here. We're not getting into genders.
Okay.
So
Or
if
gin-
we,
Don't be
if we
ginger,
misgender
please.
somebody, we might have the lefty brigade. What?
Exactly.
Yeah,
What
well,
Yeah.
that was. I think we were just a little bit confused, and that was not taking the mic. I wasn't sure.
No,
Actually, what you didn't see in the film, but you actually gingers or gingers.
Don't go
You can't-
against gingers.
No, but what you didn't see in the film, he was with a group of people.
Oh,
He's with about 10 to 15 adults. And
No
when
way.
I first got there,
mhm.
I did actually notice him, but I didn't know who he was at the time. I didn't know till Monday morning, early hours, late hours Sunday night, early hours Monday morning. I didn't know until then, until somebody'd seen the live and then messaged me. So I did actually. He's actually on my film beforehand.
I didn't
So,
know that.
Yeah,
So he was with other people. Wow, that's interesting.
and it was only him who actually did that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
do you think, was he out with a group of people? Did he look like he was out for a day out, like drinking day out? Because you said, have you
Well-
had a good drink? I wondered.
Well, it could have probably been a good guess. He's probably out with the council workers or out with
Yeah,
the
'cause
school board.
why would you have your child with
Yeah.
you then?
Yeah,
Why would you
very
take?
strange.
yeah, very strange.
Mm.
Very, but he also did what I've read. He actually went to the protest you went to, Chrissy, beforehand.
He did. I was at a protest further down the road. I did actually miss him at that one as well. I seem to, for some reason, luckily, I've missed him at both. I'm quite glad, to be honest, because, because I'm quite passionate and I probably would have got upset. So, but he came to the other protest as well, and apparently he shouted something out there as well. So he was on a mission, wasn't he? What a strange guy, like a grown man. I just don't understand that type of behaviour at all. I just can't get my head around him.
Not from
odd.
a councillor, from a councillor. Do you mean? And he's meant to be on the school board, like, do you mean? That's just taking a mickey.
Exactly.
You've got
Yeah,
somebody like
and
that.
Alarm bells are ringing.
yeah, exactly. And soon, well, once this hopefully now gets brought into more light, and obviously maybe if it gets stopped, he is not going to be able to walk down the street. Hopefully one day, because what he done,
I don't want.
you know,
I don't want that. What I would like to see is him reprimanded for it,
oh,
either sacked or,
Yeah.
or suspended from his job, and definitely taken off the school
Investigated
board.
for
Yeah,
what type of man is he that's allowed to have this type of power where he has no he has no, is it restraints? He has no, you know, he's...
Well, he can't control
that's-
this.
he
He's
can't control
aggressive.
himself. He's aggressive. He can't control himself. He's got his child with him. It's
Yeah.
odd. It's not right.
No, it's not. It's
not. Yeah. I don't understand how it's angered him that much. He obviously is very strong on this RSC. He obviously feels very strongly about it, which, you know, gives off certain ideas. But, you know, is what it is.
But how can he be strong about a subject which he knows nothing about?
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, well, maybe the agenda behind it, maybe that's why he feels strongly about.
Well, he said it's fine, didn't he? It's fine.
He said it was safe.
Yeah.
Safe, did he? Safe. That was an
Yeah, he
interesting
said it was
word.
safe.
Really?
The RSE is safe.
Okay.
Maybe. Do you know what I mean? And then he's saying, go and ask the teachers. Well, if the teachers don't know themselves,
Yeah.
where does he get his information from? Is he looking at the Scottish curriculum? Because the Scottish curriculum is absolutely diabolical.
Oh, I've got Scottish relatives, and honestly, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because they've never mentioned this to me, and a couple of my cousins, teachers. And when I found out how bad it is in Scotland, wow, I'm horrified that I never saw them mention it. Never heard them say anything, or it's just scary that people think it's, I don't know, it's just so normalized, all of this.
Yeah, exactly. You're right there, Lucia. Safe for whom? I could say a hell of a lot more on it because that's my opinion on it. Like, do you mean? But,
the poor guy's child. That's all I think about.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
It's wrong.
Yeah,
that is. It's embarrassing for him as well. What a show up.
Yeah, it's definitely how embarrassing it is for his child and for the rest of his family, his constituents as well. Like, do you mean? They're going to be looking onto that video. I think people have been tagging him with the video I put out.
Good.
So
he deserves it. He shouldn't have acted like that. There's no excuse.
No, exactly.
Very childish behaviour as well.
All right. Right. Before I go anywhere, first let's put this up.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
folks. Let's get rid of that comment because it's a big comment.
Oh.
Right, folks. PCP Wales tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Starting from 12 p.m. till 12 a.m. Midnight. They are actually doing a 12-hour live podcast. It's to raise money towards the court case. They are getting along the way. They've got over 60,000 now. Obviously, they're trying to raise as much money as they can because it's going to cost them a hell of a lot of money with the barristers, which they've got so far. You're guaranteed this is going to end in appeal, whatever happens. If the government wins, PCP Wales will be appealing. If PCP Wales win, it means the government will be appealing. And the problem we have, folks, is the government are using our own money against us. The curriculum, the legislation, did go in front of a few thousand people, and it was 87% of the Welsh people said no to it. But they still went ahead again with the legislation, folks. So they're actually going against the Welsh people, full stop. So we need to support. I will take that down in a minute. I will put. So PCP Wales don't actually need our support, folks, and they need it on a massive scale. Mm-hmm. Well, we need to be there come January and February. We need to be supporting them. We need to be on the streets with them. We need to be giving out leaflets. We need to be telling our neighbours, telling our friends, parents outside the school gates, give them a leaflet, explain exactly what is going on. There is going to be an appeal. It's got to be an appeal on either side. There's no way the government is going to lie down over this, folks. So we have to support PCP Wales, and we have to fight for our children, our grandchildren, and in Nathan's case, his sisters. We have to do things like this now because it's wrong. But it's wrong that we have to fight against a government who already knows our opinion on it. And our opinion on it is 87% said, no, we didn't want this sex education coming in. So that's fact. So, folks, if you could support PCP Wales tomorrow, 12-hour live podcast. I'll probably be popping around to one or two houses, and well, I know one knows. Alicia, you're in for a visitor sometime tomorrow, in between the video, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a short interview with you when you've got a film being played. So just beware, Alicia. Kim already knows. I'm coming around their house, so yeah, folks. So yeah, we need to support them. What are your thoughts, Chrissy first?
I just want parents to really see what this is really about and just support Public Child Protection Wales. I just feel that there is an awful lot of parents that are just putting their heads down and just ignoring what's going on. They either don't know, they don't care, or they do know, but they just don't want to face it. I don't know, it's such a big thing to face. And the other thing, just quickly, is that, you know, like Public Child Protection Wales has said before, they're not against all sex education. It's just the way that this one's done. So it's not that they're anti-sex education. It's just that this is wrong, the way this is done and where it comes from. That's all I've got to say. Just get it out to the schools.
It's not about anti-sex education. It's not anti-LGBTQ+. It's about age appropriate. That's what we've got to get. Age appropriate.
Yep,
sex
right
education.
age.
And yourself, Nathan, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, definitely. I want to see people. Obviously, if me 17 could go up there and get involved, I think not many people have really got an excuse, because I don't even have children myself, and I see the wrong in it to take the time to go up there. I think everybody should do the same when they can. I get obviously a lot of people older than me, obviously, have a lot more hectic lives, but at the end of the day, you got to make time for it, because this stuff, needs to be gone, because, it's our children's innocence on the line.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Right, we're going to go completely off topic now, right, folks? We're actually going to go on. We're going to talk about finances and what our government spends money on, folks. Start with our Drakeford, whatever you would like to call him. Right, folks, spending £13,000 to go to Qatar to watch the football. And by the way, folks, I didn't watch one game. I've waited since, I think it's 56, well before, I'm 53 now. I've waited 53 years to watch Wales in the World Cup. Now, Drakeford uses our money to go and watch the football. At the end of the day, the reason why I didn't watch it was the main reason because they took the BLM stance on taking a knee, folks. Sorry, but if you're going to carry on with this bullshit of taking a knee for a guy from America who is not even from this country, and you're going to take a knee, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Full bloody stop. Because they need to look into this guy, Mr. Floyd, because
definitely.
He actually put a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. Now, if you want to use him as an idol to stop racism, you're using the wrong idol. Full stop.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know what I mean? So this is what made me mad. So what are your thoughts? We'll go with Nathan now. That we've actually got food banks in this country, and these food banks, are running short of food. We've got people, energy crisis in this country by a government who has actually made the energy crisis by spending our money. So you got the likes of blinking Drakeford spending 13,000 payers of taxpayers' money to go and watch a football match. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, obviously, I don't feel, obviously, I think it's a bit of I get that he's might have been there to represent Wales or whatever, but I think at this time it's a bit of it's a bit of a fuck you to us, to be honest, because at the end of the day, we're all struggling. No, I don't. I'm not too sure if Rishi went. I don't think so.
Rishi didn't go, and he's a prime minister of the country.
Oh, exactly. Good point, Brian. Exactly. It is definitely taking a mick, because obviously we're all here struggling, and he makes himself out to be a man of the people, You know, he makes himself out to be on the side of the working class, etc. But you know, he spent, how much was it again? 13,000.
13,000 quid.
13,000 quid to go out there. I think that, you know, it's not an extravagant amount of money, but you know, it's still 13 grand that's come from a taxpayer for him to enjoy himself, which is just not justifiable in any way whatsoever, to be honest. That money could, you know, we got the NHS, the state of the NHS, we've got, you know, that money could have gone somewhere else, because I can imagine it wasn't just him who went. It probably wasn't just him who went, if I'm right. He probably had, you know, others around, or was it just him?
Well, it was only him, a representative from Wales, I think, except for obviously supporters. Was it Roy Pearce? Macron went from France, but you would have had people from different countries going. But we didn't have Rishi going. Yeah. I don't think Sunak went. I don't think Pranky went either, from Scotland. I don't think she went.
But you know, I think obviously that's just one example of inequality or money being spent in the wrong places, because that's just one thing. There's so many different cases of, as obviously with the expenses of the front benchers, etc. You know, it's appalling, really, because that's all coming out, and they're hiring taxes to combat this cost of living. Yet, where's this tax money going?
Yeah, Chrissy, what about your thoughts on this?
It's no surprise. It's no surprise. We know that you know, he is one of the great pretenders, isn't he? You know, he doesn't care about us at all. So I'm not shocked by it. You know, I think that he is despicable, really, and I just think that people in Wales who still think that he's looking out for us or supporting us and is a good, you know, he's just sad, really, because he's not. He doesn't care about us. He's not a good man, is he? He's an embarrassment, really.
Well, he's an embarrassment for by sticking up, by putting this legislation through for the PCP Wales, because at the end of the day, his son served 8 years for violent rape on a special needs child, and we've got that sort of person.
Shocking. Never knew that.
Got that sort of person running our country.
Exactly, and how can we possibly trust him to have, you know, like, no, that's crazy. I don't know, because obviously he hasn't himself been in prison, but you know, his son, I think that's, I never knew that, but I think that is something that's
well, let's get this right.
Kept away.
Let's get this right. I'm not going to say son. It's either it's fostered son,
adopted son, isn't it?
Adopted son, but that's regardless.
Doesn't matter. It's still his son. He brought him up, and
yeah, exactly. I never heard about that. See, and obviously, I don't think they would. There's a reason why I didn't, because obviously they've kept that out there, like.
Well, when it was the last election, I got banned quite a few times, because every time he was putting up, to get re-elected, for the First Minister's post, I was getting bans all the time, because I was just putting the links in from, you just find it on Facebook, like, not Facebook, on Google, you just Google it, and I was just putting the link in on everything, every time he's putting something up or something like that. It wasn't trolling him, it was just letting the people know who were voting for him what his son's actually done, like. But the Facebook user who's on now, I can actually see that she's right. How many, this Nancy here is, how many homeless people could have benefited from that amount?
Yeah.
It's right, mind.
Do you know, I was in town the other day, and I stopped to give this lady that was sat on the floor some money, and she said to me, do you know that someone died out here last night? And I said, oh no, I didn't know. And she said, yes. She said, a young man, he died, he froze to death. Oh, I said, I'm so sorry, it's just awful. You know, and just to think that, like, Mark Drakeford lives down the road from the city centre, it's just, it's sad. It's wrong, it's sad, and we need to think of ways now that we're going to be able to change this world. We have to.
Yeah, especially considering, especially considering the fact.
Go on.
When you consider the fact that they're housing asylum seekers in 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels, etc. You know, when obviously I seen something this week of obviously you had in Blackpool where you got I know it's not Wales, but in Blackpool where you got a 4-star hotel that was housing a good few Albanians inside, while just outside you had homeless people who were obviously citizens of this country sat outside in the cold. Do you get me? And people think if you speak out against it, people think if you're against housing these asylum seekers in 4-star hotels and they think you're racist. But it's nothing to do with race, because you've got citizens in this country who are ethnic minorities themselves who are homeless.
If our country, if we were all sorted out and there was no homeless problems and everyone was looked after, I don't think that anyone would particularly mind bringing a few people over.
No.
And looking after them if they needed that. It's not about that. It's about how can you do that and bring them over and put them in nice hotels. It's not only that. There's a lot of old people now that are sat in their homes and they're scared to put their heating on. They are frightened, and they probably, some old people are going to die, and we're allowing this. And people like Mark Drakeford he doesn't care about elderly people. He doesn't care about young people. He doesn't care about anybody except for himself
and his ideology. I just want to answer James. Was there an actual consultation done on this type of education? Yes, it was. It was 87% said no to it, James, just to let you know on that. I know Nathan has said Blackpool, but it's over, I think it's about 600 or 700 hotels now. And that includes Wales. There's quite a few in Wales.
Loads in Wales.
Dritford's attitude is we are the home to refugees in this country. And you're right, when it comes to Albanians, they're not coming from a war-torn country. So why are they coming
exactly.
And what makes you wonder is they can get a flight for about 29 quid to come over to Britain on a holiday visa, but they'd rather come over and spend 3 to 5,000 to come over on a dinghy to check their passports in the sea. So we do have an issue there.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's fact. This is all fact.
Do you know,
this isn't
the other thing I'm concerned about is that all these men that are in at the hotels, I mean, obviously we have to worry about our young people wandering around as well. And I know that's I know that's maybe people will say, oh, well, you're whatever, tarring them all with the same brush. I'm just saying that when groups of men come from different countries that maybe we don't know who they are. We don't know what checks they've had, nothing. And we have young ladies, young girls walking around. And I'm thinking the hotels are full with these young men. It's a bit scary when you've got children.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a knock-on effect, right? It's a knock-on effect, right? As far as all these, we're actually, I've just seen it. Hang on a sec. Just bear with me a second, and I'll see if I can put it up now, if I can find it, because it's £6.5 million. I think this. No, I can't see it. Yeah, it's nearly £7 million a day, which they're spending on hotels. Now, what we could be spending on £7 million a day, that could feed the homeless, probably a lot of homeless in this country. But it's a knock-on effect as well. The prices of hotels, the hotel places are disappearing, and the prices of hotels for people visiting the country, people like myself who want to travel a little bit around the country, people who going to work, in different part of the country, the hotel places are starting to diminish. So what that actually does to the market, it's more expensive to go and stay in a hotel because they know they can charge what they want now.
Exactly.
And is there any rooms left for people coming over? Is there going to be rooms when they have concerts, or
are they going to want to stay there? Are they even going to want to stay in these hotels?
Well, they won't be. They're filling up the whole of a hotel, I believe. So, yeah. So I suppose they can't.
And obviously, well, if you look how much money the UK government has sent France to try and prevent this, and no prevention has been happening, so the money's been wasted there as well. Something like 50 million has long gone over to France to, try and, stop what's happening at Calais, etc., and the boat and the channel crossings. But obviously, nothing's being done. So, it's a lot of money is being wasted in this particular thing. Yeah, a lot of money's been wasted. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely wasted. You mentioned, right, Nathan, you mentioned the front benches.
Yeah.
Right. This is the cost of the front benches, folks. Nearly 45 million pound on expenses, folks. This is just the front bench. Now, if you look at the figures, like Wallace, I think he's
military, something to do with
armed forces minister. 2.3 million pound. Now this is on top of their 80-odd thousand pounds they get as a wage salary. The other Rab, 1.6. Barclay, nearly 2 million. Hunt, nearly 2 million. Now they already get paid. They get paid handsomely, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Now what they should be doing, we don't get expenses when we go to work. We don't get petrol. We don't get paid taxis. We don't get our gas and electric paid. We don't get our phone bills paid. We don't. We don't get a second mortgage paid. If we get a job, what? Because they've been voted in, they suddenly allowed expensive of over £2 million on expenses a year, and that's just the front bench. Can you imagine what the rest of the Parliament is getting, and how much is it costing us? Did you also know there's 100,000 bottles of blinking champagne and wine in the cellar of Parliament? Did you know that, folks? That's taxpayers' money. That's taxpayers' money. They get subsidies on food in Parliament. All the expenses are paid outside. And they get 2 million. They get the wages. Taxpayers' money.
Yeah. A lot of them have. Yeah. A lot of them have other source of income as well, other than the salary.
That's right. Yeah, they do, don't they? I've heard that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So 44 million pounds. That's just the front bench. It's wrong, absolutely wrong. And they're trying to tell us, oh, you can survive on this. You can do this and that. It's when they start to give how many billions away have they given away to Ukraine? What about our own country? What about the starving in our own country? What about the old people who are going freezing cold?
Mind blowing.
Hypothermia.
Definitely.
I know.
And if we want to pay the nurses, they could just get rid of their bloody expenses. As simple as that. Same as that. Ambulance drivers now went on strike today, and the problem is how many people actually died because of that? Because the government wouldn't talk about wages. Wouldn't talk to wages.
It just shows that they don't care, and that's what people have got to start getting into their heads, haven't they? People have just got to realise they just don't care about us. So when they're telling us things that we need to be doing because they care about us, and that's what people believe, that they've got our best interests at heart, it's just not true. It's absolutely false. So people need to start waking up to that big time.
Yeah, right. We're going to look at the COP27. Now, this is what Rishi and all this lot decide to do with our money, folks. Not only do they take it in the backhanders' expenses, or every little group they meet and stuff like that, they get backhanders again, But look at this, folks. 11.6 billion on climate finance. That's without
climate.
1.5 billion for Pakistan and Somali for climate change. 65 million to Kenya and Egypt for climate change. This is what we're doing to these countries.
Is shocking. That is absolutely shocking. That's terrible. That is terrible.
Congo and Amazon, 150 million. You got clean energy and innovation, 65 million. 3 billion to Nairobi's Railway City and hydropower project. Are they having a laugh?
That's absolutely shocking. I actually can't believe that.
We're meant to be in a cost of living at the moment crisis, and we're giving our money, billions and billions of taxpayers' money, away to other countries.
Well,
so what are your thoughts, Chris?
I think that people really need to go and look at the fourth industrial revolution. I really do, and the World Economic Forum. I think to understand what's going on, you've got to look at the bigger picture. That's what I think anyway. I think there's a lot of things going on to change everything, and all these things that they're doing, they're just corrupt. What can you say? What do you think, Nate?
Well, definitely, as you said, Blair, with the WEF, obviously, it's these global institutions which are obviously behind most of these things, just like RSE, with the WHO. These people cannot be trusted. Power is getting far too centralized by, these institutions being backed by certain corporations. And it just needs to stop, because that is how we've got to this point where billions upon billions are being sent to other countries to improve their response to climate change. I mean, and their excuse for this, us here in the West, their excuse for this is that in the West, we are the, sole reason why, well, in the West and China, we are the biggest emitters. So they say it's our fault. Well, we're going to have to be tough on this situation, because it's just, is it our problem? That's what we need to ask. Is it really our problem?
The problem is we should be looking after our own before we start looking after anybody else.
Yeah,
our
definitely.
country is in dire straits, and it's been in dire straits. It's bankrupt. No, people think our country is one of the richest countries. It's not. Whenever a country's got a deficit, it means you're bankrupt. Full stop. We are bankrupt. We should be looking after our own country first. All right. You mentioned foreign aid there, Nathan. There you go. It was 18.6 billion in 2020. God help us what it is now. This is what we give our taxpayers' money. I mean, to other countries. Why?
Would they do the same if it was the other way around? And I could tell you a lot of countries would not, because a lot of countries don't even like the West. And we're giving a lot of money to countries who are completely, don't like the West. It's shocking. It's shocking. And obviously, is this money being allocated where they're saying it is? Because obviously in some of these countries, we know there's a lot of corruption. So God knows how much taxpayers' money is being pocketed by, government officials in countries like Kenya, countries like, Somalia and whatever.
Most of it probably, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, right, Facebook users just put up a good thing for that. They've obviously got laundrettes all over the world. They have. And the Ukraine is one of the biggest ones.
Oh, I know, without it.
But she disappeared. Christy's disappeared. She's back. Yeah, so a lot of this foreign aid does go into countries, it gets sent to countries, but it doesn't get to the people. That's definite. And I don't see why we should be giving our money away when we got homeless on the streets, we got homeless veterans, we got people starving, we got people who are freezing, people can't get operations in the NHS. I mean, there's 7 million on a waiting list for the NHS for operations. It's wrong.
It's shocking, and it makes you think what type of country we would live in if all this money did stay here and was allocated correctly. Because I think
we need some clever people to start coming together and building some, some stuff like healthcare away from the NHS and different things. We need doctors and nurses that are starting to set up their own, because we just can't live in this system. This system is completely broken.
It's pushing us to the edge.
Well, the thing is, right, Lathan, they've been trying to push us to the edge since Brexit. They thought we would have started fighting back then. And then when obviously nearly every country before COVID were up in arms and up on the streets. They wanted their governments gone. This was Germany. This was France. This
Yeah.
was Canada. This was America. It was in all countries: China, New Zealand, Australia. And then the COVID came in. It stopped everybody in their tracks.
Shut it down.
This is what they do, see, folks.
Exactly.
But like I say, they're spending our money like it's water. And I love the way they comment. Oh, we've given so much to this, we've given so much to that country. No, you haven't given it. We have, the taxpayers.
Yeah,
We've been robbed
exactly.
of it. We had it stolen from us.
Mm.
And they've made money out of it. They've made guaranteed all that lot. The elite have made money out of it.
Yep.
There's another one here, folks. If you think this is going back, a lot of you know about this. Fraud, 6.7 billion because of the furlough scheme. Do you know what I mean? Who was actually doing? Rishi again, giving no money away when he was the Chancellor during the COVID crisis, so-called COVID crisis. But he gave 6.7 billion. He hasn't gone to try to claw it back. The fraud, that's what they estimated. I bet it's a lot higher than that. And that's your taxpayers' money. Nobody's been prosecuted for it yet. You know, your thoughts?
They probably
Well,
won't
obviously-
never get prosecuted, will they? Go on,
No,
Nathan.
definitely
Sorry.
not. Obviously, what you just said, Brett. Well, with COVID, that's where the conditions that was used to completely control us. And to think anything else is just extreme, because obviously, they had people listening to arrows in the ground, laws reinforcing that. It was some of the things was crazy, especially here in Wales, where you had what was essential, what weren't essential, is pushing us to the edge. And they keep doing it. And now you've got Russia and Ukraine, that's pushing us to the edge. They're getting us ready to condition our mind for something big that's going to come along. And obviously, that's the 2030 agenda. So, as you said earlier, you're seeing all these things and you're realizing, they're all coming from the same place.
That's right.
With COVID, with the RC, it's all coming from the same place. And these places, these people are, the WHO, the UN, UNESCO, the IMF, it's just shocking. It's shocking. And I think, we're obviously up against, big people, very big, very, very big institutions, but obviously they rely on keeping us divided and distracted.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to work on.
Do you know that they went to the Young Global Leaders School? That there's leaders that are picked. And if you start looking into that, did you know about that, Nathan?
No, I never heard about that.
So you need to find out about the Young Global Leaders World Economic Forum. So basically, they went to a school. So you think that the one who's in Canada, Justin Trudeau, Boris Johnson and all people like that, they all went to this Young Global Leaders School.
Yeah.
So they were all, basically, they've been groomed, ready for the positions that they took that were going to lead us into where we're going. So they've been
Well, you had
That's
Merkel.
shocking.
You had Merkel. You had Merkel. You had May, and you had Cranky up in Scotland. They all went to the same school.
Oh, I didn't know she did. The Scottish
the
one,
three of
I
them.
didn't know.
That's mental, that is.
So we think that we're all different, and they're not.
There you go, Klaus's school.
Klaus Schwab's the leader of WEF, is it?
Yeah, his school.
Yeah, the head guy.
He's the one that's got prepared them for this time.
Yeah, that's right.
We need to stand together, everyone.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
United.
But nobody actually did anything during COVID. You would have thought people would have been. I know. I was in London. There was 1 million people on the streets on one demo. There's 2 million on another. But you still have to have that little bit of push to remove a government. You can't do it on a Saturday when the buildings are empty. You need to surround Parliament when they're all in there a Wednesday and don't let them out. Simple. Until they all resign. They either resign or they have to be removed physically. I don't like to say the word revolution because I could probably have a knock on a door now. But that's the only way we
That's what's needed. honestly, that is the only way we're getting through it is through that word right there, because that's the only way, because you're not getting in, we're not penetrating the establishment that they've built in any circumstances. Us ordinary people, we're just
Yeah.
not. They won't allow it. As soon as they see anyone from our ranks going somewhere in one of them, we'll be cut straight off. The only way is through revolution.
The only problem is that they've already prepared for us to all kick off. So it's kind of like we're in a really difficult situation, because if we kick off, they've already got all the plans for that. They know
exactly.
They probably thought we were going to kick off by now, but we haven't actually. We've been pretty good,
exactly.
haven't we?
Yeah,
it's been all about push.
They don't realise that we know about their secret tunnels in Parliament. We do know where their secret tunnels are in Parliament. A lot of us do know where they get kind of. But the problem is,
have you got the key? So I can sneak in.
But we can't do it through elections, because you've got the small-minded people who are still voting for Labour in Wales. You've still got voting for the same people. You should be voting for independent people around the country.
Yeah, definitely.
Do not vote for Labour, Conservatives, Lib Dems, SNP. Those parties are all bought and paid for, folks. It's the independents which aren't bought and paid for, and they're the people. Because our voting system is so corrupt, it's just unbelievable. Yeah. There is. We're not going to win.
It is. No, no. We just wouldn't. And no, there's no way some of our ranks would ever be able to get to where Rishi Sunak is. There's no way. There's no way some from our ranks would be able to go far in either the parties either, because as you said, they've gone to the same sort of schools. It's all been planned out.
He's been to that school. He's been to the Young Global Leaders as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Abby, what Abby just said. I mean, I've always wondered why Saturdays never made sense. Right, I've got to say this. It does spread awareness if it's on a Saturday. The first couple, when you're spreading awareness. That is the only good thing it does. It brings people together on a Saturday. But I can see the downside of it. If you're trying to change something, you should be doing it like PCP Wales. I mean, they're actually making a difference. They've taken the government to court.
Yeah,
they've got them into the courtroom. Even if they win or lose, I mean, it's all on public record what's been said.
Exactly.
I mean, so they're making a difference. It will always be case law what they've done. But now what we're doing is we're protesting outside empty buildings. We should start learning. Take that day off on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I know you can't afford it. I know you're going to put food and electric on the table, but the cost of living crisis is going to get a hell of a damn lot worse. And if you don't start standing up and letting these politicians know, then you might as well give up now. You might as well.
Yeah, exactly. And as Chrissy said about the fourth industrial revolution, and obviously a big part of what this cost of living is doing is you will own nothing and be happy.
Yeah.
That's what they say, innit? You will own nothing and be happy. And, they're Marxists. A lot of them, they are Marxists. And, obviously, I've got my own life ahead of me. And, I would not like to imagine a world I would live in at your age if this stuff just kept carrying on. It's just unbelievable to me, because
do you know what? There's not enough, but there are people that are fighting for your future. There are.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, definitely.
There are a lot of us. There isn't enough, unfortunately, but there are plenty as well. There's lots of people who want to save the future for children. So don't give up. We're going to keep going.
Definitely not. There. Never give up. Definitely never.
The other problem we got is, like Abby just said, different for PCP Wales. That's to reach out to the public directly for the children. Yeah, it is. But what we've got another problem is our social media, our media stations, the BBC, ITV, all of them, the whole lot, newspapers, the whole lot of it. It's so corrupt that they haven't even met. I mean, the amount of recognition that they've given PCP Wales for taking a Welsh government to court. You would have thought it would have been on the front page of every single newspaper in this country.
Yeah, exactly. But it
it's
weren't.
not. But it isn't, because it doesn't suit the agenda. It's because the government wants it to come in, and
Exactly.
at the end of the day, they work for the government. They do.
It's a wake up call
Exactly.
to people. They should be looking at that and thinking, hang on a minute, this is a really big case here in Wales, and the news is really quiet, isn't it? It's really, it's obvious.
Well,
if you've got eyes to see.
It's a big.
If they're not reporting on it, exactly. Surely, right? If it's RG was so great or whatever, or surely, well, when they want to be reporting on it, when they want to be saying, but no, there's nothing. You think they would, but the fact that they're not, the absence just tells everything, because it's not anything small anymore. As you said, they've took the Welsh government to court. The Welsh government has been in court over this, and it's still not been reported. And it was right outside the BBC in Cardiff, which is also very strange. So it's a really sticky one. And anyone at this point who just still believes in the system is just foolish, because it's so obvious to me anyway. It's just so obvious.
Oh, I know, and me. It's
anything they try to hide, you need
see it.
Yeah, exactly. But we need to understand how people can't see it, because that's the only way we're going to turn them. Because it's cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. They do not believe the government. They have trust in the government. They don't believe they would necessarily do anything wrong. Same as the schools. They have trust in schools. They don't necessarily believe that anything is wrong. It's like you can show them the evidence, and you can show them the evidence time and time again, but their mind just will reject it straight out, and that is cognitive dissonance. It just they've proper conditioned everybody's minds, and they've made it so hard for something abstract or new to possibly take precedence in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking forward to the new lockdown?
No, I'm
No,
not
definitely
being
not.
locked down.
Oh yeah,
No,
you are.
I know.
You are.
Oh, no.
You are.
No, I'm not.
You are.
I will be there. I will be in Oxford on the 18th of February.
Yeah, so
standing up, because that's what we need to do. We all need to come together, and they should be coming down to Cardiff when we have stuff as well. We need to all be supporting each other.
Yeah, definitely.
In numbers, big numbers.
Yeah,
exactly.
At the end of the day,
obviously, go on.
They're going to lock down Canterbury and Oxford. But it's also been rumoured for Edinburgh and Cardiff.
I know.
So 15-minute domain from your home. I think
devastating.
I think you can cycle.
Oh, brilliant. As I've always wanted to cycle.
Climate change lockdown. What utter bullshit.
It's the biggest lie ever.
Another one of these.
Fake.
Exactly.
Fake.
I don't know if any of you've seen this, but obviously there was an episode of Lorraine where she was showing the effects the lockdown had on climate change, and it was like a photo of Himalayas, and obviously she said one was before the lockdown and one was during the lockdown. Did you see that?
No.
And obviously the one before the lockdown was smog everywhere, and the one during the lockdown was less smog. But they were both the same photos, because you had the two exact same guys in the exact same t-shirts stood there.
No.
And I'll have to send it to the pair of you after this live now. Yes, exactly.
Well, when I was younger, they kept on scaring us about the ozone, the hole in the ozone layer. Do you know about that? No?
Yeah, of course I do. And they say now it's back to normal, but
because they kept on saying it was getting bigger, and we're all going to die from the ozone layer.
Yeah.
And then thinking about it, like a few years later, I never heard about it again. I only saw it on something.
No, they're saying that obviously there was a hole being teared up in the ozone layer, and obviously they've said that it's gone back to normal, or like a better way than it was obviously in the 80s, 90s. But it's just all a fraud. It's just all a fraud. Like climate change, you know. I don't know what to think about that, because how can we? Why should we trust their science? And how do we
Well,
know where?
if
Go on.
you go and look at David Bellamy, okay,
Yeah.
David Bellamy was
Yeah.
amazing when I was growing up. He's a very, very clever man. And he actually did an interview where he said that climate change is a natural progression of the earth. Okay, it does happen.
Yeah, the climate's always changing, exactly, and
It will
that's
change
nothing we have
naturally.
control over.
No. And David Bellamy, was always on the telly when I was growing up. He did that
Yeah.
interview and he went to Parliament, I think with hundreds of scientists, to say it was absolute nonsense what they were putting out there. He never ever worked again.
Yeah, it's very true. The thing is, they go on about the thing is, this world has had 5 ice ages already. Do you know what I mean? It's a natural
Yeah.
phenomenon in this world. You're not going to change it. And
Exactly.
where they say the ice is disappearing, say the south part of the pole, the ice is disappearing. On the north part of the pole, it's increased more than it actually disappearing. So actually, we're on our way back to another ice age, if they like it or not. Like it's
Yeah.
just a natural thing that happens. But they're trying to say that we've got global warming. That's utter bollocks. Yeah, the pole is actually getting
Obviously,
bigger in mass.
but I don't know if you want to speak about this in here, but if you obviously geoengineering, well, you know,
Absolutely
we've all heard
true.
about that. That's you know, artificial climate change. If you like, you know, they, you know, that's the thing. See,
That's
they'll scare us. Yeah, exactly. They scare us with climate change for years and years and years, to the point where they bring out stratospheric aerosol injection and say, oh, we've brought this idea out and we got to do it, and it's for the greater good and it's going to save the planet. And obviously a lot of people, they don't know whether if they don't do it, the planet's going to burn up or not, because we don't have access to such knowledge or science to prove it. So, you know, scare us with climate change for years and years and years, and they could turn around and say, oh, well, we got to spray aerosols and metallic particles in the sky to reflect the sunlight. Otherwise, we're all going to burn out. And people will fall for it. People will fall for it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a different topic for a different day, I think, climate change.
Yeah.
Okay. I love a bit of climate change chat.
Yeah, I love climate
Fascinating.
change. I love
Fascinating.
chemtrails. I've been watching chemtrails for 15 years, so
Yeah.
I've known about this for a long time.
Have you?
Yeah.
Funny, I've only known about it for about 3 years, but I've got loads
I've only
of
known it
videos.
for about 2 years myself, but I've got plenty of videos, and obviously from my view just there, obviously I can see, you know, my view is, you know, I can see the old sky, and I've seen grids, I've seen all sorts, and you know, I've told so many people about it, and it's just like,
They laugh.
you know, they just laugh. They actually laugh, and it's like,
I know.
exactly, that's what I mean. And because they're so used to contrails, they just think it's because they've seen contrails all the time. They just think it's
but
the
they're
same thing.
nothing like it. They're nothing
Exactly.
like it.
Well, they stay in the sky for ages, and they trickle down and enlarge, and you know, it's very hard to deny. Exactly, and they say it's ice particles or to do with humidity. No, it's not true. And I've seen evidence that, you know, completely goes against humidity or
Nathan,
ice crystals.
I think you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely, you'll get labelled one anyway. Right?
Yeah, 100%. I already have been.
Nothing wrong with that.
The best meme or meme of the week. I'm going to start doing this. The best meme or meme of the week, I think, is the best one of the year, folks. I'm going to put this up. I put this up.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, 'cause you will see it. You will see it. That's the thing.
People are morons.
It's mad.
Yeah.
Is that real though? Or
No,
is that
no.
A real
He's one of us.
No?
He's one of us.
Okay.
He's doing it. It actually went viral on Twitter, on Facebook. It went viral right around the country, like, didn't it? Fair play to him. He's one of us.
Okay.
He's one of us.
He's one of us crazy.
But you will see stuff like that, though. That's the thing. It was the same with the vaccine.
I will. They will be. As soon as the lockdowns come, right, in these cities, they're going to be doing it. You're guaranteed they'll have the
They
little
do it with
signs
everything.
around the fucking
We are
profiles.
constantly under attack. That's right.
Exactly.
From everything.
Yeah. I
So
could talk about chemtrails.
we got to win this. We have to. We have no choice. There is no losing.
Yeah.
We are not
No.
losing this.
Exactly. There's do or do not. You know, it's if none stand, all fall. Like it's
That's
do or do
right.
not at this point, because like it's up. You know, we're at if you ask me, we're at crossroads at this moment now. I feel like a lot of people have been awakening recently, and you know, it's start something big. And I think we gotta have belief that we will stop it. We gotta have belief that we can
have
combat
to.
it. Because if we don't have belief, then that's what they want. They want us to be intimidated by them. They want us to feel powerless against them. And I felt powerless enough. And now I've got to the point where no more, because I want to stand up against it all, because it's just getting too much for me now.
I'm not going to talk about aliens, Jax. That's for another show as well.
Oh, come on. We've covered everything, you. We've really gone on.
I know it's gone into an hour and a half now. Like
Phil, you've invited on the 2 chatterboxes, haven't you?
Yeah.
If it was Sean Morris or John Lawrence, if I invited any of those two on, right, I wouldn't get a word in edgeways. At least I'm getting a word in tonight, so I wouldn't worry about it. But Sean Morris, he's such a good bloke, like to me. He knows about alternative medicine and stuff like that, and it's nice to bring him on to shows where he knows what he's talking about. He does all the alternative medicines for any ailment. You just contact him.
What's his name?
Sean Morris.
Oh, okay.
It was because of him that I actually got into doing this, because I went to a Brexit demonstration it was, and I was there for 2 days, and so was Sean and Gallows, and basically I got off the bus in Victoria, and those two asked me for a light because they could see me lighting up a fag like. So we started chatting, and he actually did a lot of the filming for different things like Brexit. A lot of injustices he was filming as well, and that's what actually got me into it. But now he's gone a different way. He's gone into alternative medicines. He does shows every Sunday morning. He's out in the garden getting his vegetables or flowers and making medicines out of it. Do you mean? He's a really knowledgeable guy. But sometimes I bring him on with a friend of mine called Kim. Now she knows a lot about cancers and stuff like that, so it's nice to get him on. But me getting a word in, no, amazing guys. But I am going to bring it to an end. If you want to stay in the background, the pair of you, it's up to you. I'll stay on for a little bit. But I'd like to thank both of you for coming on. You are a breath of fresh air, Nathan. Honest to God.
Thank you. Yeah.
For somebody who's 17 years of age, and I'm sure Christy would agree with me as well. Like, do you mean? What do you think, Chris?
Amazing. It's what we've been waiting for. Some uprising of some real young men, because there are a lot of
definitely
men.
There is a lot of us.
We need some young blood, young unvaxxed blood to take us forwards.
Yeah, definitely. And it will happen, because there is others, obviously, but there's not. Obviously, I've got a lot of friends, and I speak to friends about stuff like this. Obviously, some just don't want to hear about it, some don't want to speak about it, because obviously ignorance is bliss, of course.
Yeah, of course. And it's a bit scary.
The thing is, we need to scare them. We need to scare them about this. We got to scare them. That's what I mean.
I do think after 3 years that we do. I put an awful lot of stuff out, and I just keep sharing. I don't care what people think anymore. I just don't care, because it's just got to the point where
it's the collective conscious. Never succumb to the collective conscious, because the collective conscious now is obviously just gonna keep the system going. Obviously, never be afraid to go against the collective conscious. That's all I'll say, because
we just got to keep going.
If you feel like something is right and you believe that it is right and true, then never let whatever people may think stop you from sharing that information on, because obviously we've all done it. We've all sat there and thought, oh, well, I don't really want to bring this up because I don't want him to look at me and think this or think that. But we've really got to get over that. And
definitely. That's what I've been doing like the last few months, like doing a few more videos and things, because we have to speak out. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but we just got to keep going, because each one of us is a ripple effect, isn't it?
Yeah,
changing
definitely.
Things.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
We can make a change if we all stand together. Like
exactly.
But like I said, I thank you both for coming on. Chrissy might be coming on a regular basis. I'm not. If Chrissy's got, it all depends on Chrissy's workload. If she can come on, I am going to have Chrissy on quite often coming up. But I'm sure we can have you back on again sometime, Nathan.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Like you're a breath of fresh air, mate. You are definitely.
Nice.
And some more practice some speeches ready for the.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I've still got a lot to learn, but the thing is, I've got a lot to learn, obviously, but I learn fast, I guess. But
you're years ahead of a lot of people, Nathan. I can tell you, years ahead of people I know my age. You are clued up, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. Well, it's nice speaking to you both anyway, and have a good night. Have a good night.
And you, Nathan. All right. So, if you stay in the background, and if you stay in the background, I'll talk to you after I finish this a little bit. So, folks, just remember now we got Kim's. See if I can get it straight away. Tomorrow is a 12-hour live podcast, folks, with Lashia. She's co-hosting with Lashia. She's got some amazing guests on. She's got Trans Against Groomers, I think, or Gays Against Groomers. There's a hell of a lot going to be going on in our show, folks. So please support it, because they need your support. So please watch them. What else? So I will give them. I'll have a look on Real News, Live News, and the first comment that said, John Simon, I'll get in contact with you, and you can have the mug. That's it for today. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. I will be back in the new year, a different type of show. I will be changing it around a little bit, folks. So be prepared. I will be supporting PCP Wales a hell of a lot during 2023. I won't be going to so many other demos, because I've still got to finish writing my book. And then obviously I want that finished by next Christmas. I want that book out by next Christmas. So, but I'll still be doing my shows, and I will be having some cracking guests on. People who are down to earth, who are on the front line. How can I say it? If what affects people, they're the type of people I want on my show, folks. Do you know what I mean? So, I wish you all a Merry Christmas. And what I'm going to do now is I'll put my favourite one back on again, folks. Darryl Purcell, who does my does the rapping at the beginning. I'm going to finish off it with that, if I can find it again. Darryl's amazing for PCP Wales. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get enough recognition. He's very talented. He did a bit of the solicitor's work for the barrister. He's done so many fundraising events. He's gone to PCP Wales demos. I mean, the guys are just absolutely awesome. He's got a family of his own. He goes to work. So, folks, I'm going to play his tune to finish off the show. And good night, all. No start.
Okay, picking it up here in Wilmington, North Carolina, right at the Intercoastal. We're in one of these bands.
So that's my side, Dell, in Wilmington, North Carolina. But as he races and fights to win Friday, check out the two guys who seem to walk right by him in the background there, no trouble at all. The video has been shared more than 1 million times on social media. Now it's the
Cruising, cruising, looking for some news and losing it's amusing. Other people choosing the topics I can view and the subjects I can chew on, the facts that I can spew and the news they put their slew on. Twisty, turny, wriggly, wormy, squealy, squirmy news. Psychopathic journalists deceiving with their views. Tightening like a tourniquet, they're aiming to confuse. Nightly negative narratives narrating you the blues. Blues and twos, new taboos, the pasta's all sold out. The hurricane's incoming and the world is dying out. Asteroids, blasteroids, steroids in their tails. The windiest ever windy gales are blowing in the dales. The sea levels are rising at a super duper rate. 247, 365, the caliphate's your fate. Tidal waves are waving like the death rays from the sun. Duck and cover, stand your ground, there's nowhere else to run.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago, I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy.
Writing, fighting, to publish stuff exciting. Losing it's amusing, other people choosing the posts that I can post and the documents I can read from, the info I can feed from, the facts the checkers get wrong. Sleazy, slimy, geeky, grimy, blackout, soulless tech, concluding with a clickety-click what's wrong and what's correct. Politically encouraged with protection from the law. They're getting pretty ruthless now, they're panicking for sure. Scrubbing out the info like a scrubber in a tub, deleting the derogatory of the members in their club. Documents and studies disappear without a trace. Psychopathic moral unless they're doing it in your face. The info is erasing at a super duper rate. Breach community standards, your account will feel a fate. Post a funny meme means that you hate and are extreme. No chance of an appeal cause you're white and so supreme. Doctors, nurses, scientists and servants, real boys made from wood, covering for the perverts, defining definitions that will put you in a spin. Anything of interest gets filed in recycled bin. Algorithms algorizing the content that you post, collecting information, long-term storage with a host. Five Eyes keeping eyes on you, they're eyeing up your speech, using legal loopholes to conduct a data breach. Unqualified assessors banning stuff they do not like. Since early 2020 this has reached a massive spike. You're swimming in a dirty swamp, the swamp is full of pike. Post a touchy subject and receive a community strike. Unelected unofficials making up the rules.